Welcome to Blind Abilities. I'm Jeff Thompson.
I think sometimes we are so limited about what we believe our abilities are and what society tells us our abilities are. If people just truly followed their passions and others didn't stop and stand in their way, I think we would have a better world to live in.
A passion for STEM. Dr. Mona Minkara.
All the kids, both sighted and blind, do all the activities with a blindfold so that everyone could understand and recognize the fact that this is possible without sight. I myself don't know many other blind scientists, and I want to see that to change. I want that to change. I want to see more blind scientists. I think that we could solve problems and think about problems completely differently.
STEM. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics.
That doctor had told my mom that it wasn't worth spending a penny on my education because I was going to be blind anyways. But as my life went on to prove, it wasn't I who had limited vision, but he.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter @blindabilities, and download our free app from the App Store. That's 2 words, Blind Abilities.
We wanted the materials to be low cost so that it was affordable. So we had them build a record player completely just out of paper, tape, and a pin. And it worked.
Dr. Mona Minkara and her team at the University of Minnesota put together a STEM curriculum that was implemented in a camp in Lebanon. Dr. Minkara's passion started when she was young and gives credit to her parents. And even more, she now wants to help others access the world of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Hi, my name is Mona Minkara, and I am here to talk about STEM. What is STEM? Well, STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math, and it basically is an area, a very neglected area when it comes to the blind community. So I had the awesome pleasure and privilege to work with ETI, Empowerment Through Integration, this past summer, where I got to go to a 2-week camp with kids that were both sighted and blind, and I got to implement a STEM curriculum that was completely blind accessible, that was designed by myself, John Hamill, Connor Van Teicher, and Dr. Robert Hembry.
As the team was developing their STEP curriculum, I got a chance to meet up with them, talk to them about their excitement, and to meet John and Connor.
We're here today, myself, John, and Connor, because we are working on developing a STEM curriculum that is accessible to the blind, completely accessible, but also low cost, so that individuals living in Lebanon, living in other developing countries, have the ability to experience STEM. Because a lot of these blind individuals, a lot of these blind kids, they're encouraged to not even pursue the idea of even studying STEM because it's too visual.
My name is John Hamill. I'm currently a senior at the University of Minnesota studying classics. I'm Dr. Mona Minkara's technical writer access assistant. We are trying to raise societal awareness to our nonprofit organization. And I personally believe that now more than ever, we are indebted to a servitude of favor for the people from each corner of the world and of each level of ability. And this begins with the offering of an educational service that is more inclusive to all and to those who do not have the privilege and the power to speak up for themselves.
My name is Connor Van Teicher, and I graduated from the University of Minnesota with a bachelor's degree in chemistry, and I am currently working for Dr. Mona Minkara as her main access assistant to her computational chemistry research. The 3 of us, we have already created the STEM curriculum and have gone through and tested it, and everything is looking great. And this upcoming summer is Camp Rafiki that is happening, and we were invited to come and make sure that our curriculum is performed correctly and all the volunteers know what they're doing, mainly because this is the very first time that the STEM has actually been added as part of the curriculum. Camps in the past have only been life skills for the blind kids and then integrating them with sighted kids by performing other activities such as soccer. Sarah Minkara, Dr. Mona Minkara's sister, and the other members of ETI want us to come and personally make sure that the curriculum we wrote will be implemented correctly.
And it was phenomenal. I got to implement the curriculum. I got to see these kids interact. I actually had all the kids, both sighted and blind, do all the activities with a blindfold so that everyone could understand and recognize the fact that this is possible without sight. And we had activities from growing radishes to making their own candy to making their own old-timey record player just out of low-cost materials. That was another kind of dimension that we had to work with. We wanted the curriculum to be blind accessible, empower these children, but also we wanted the materials to be low cost so that it was affordable. So we had them build a record player completely just out of paper, tape, and a pin. And it worked. And it blew their minds. Like, it was phenomenal. Like, even the adults that came to visit were just, like, fascinated. We introduced them to oobleck, which is a non-Newtonian fluid. We introduced them to making their own stethoscope. So they went around and be able to hear their own heartbeats. We had them, the classic volcano experiment, making their own bouncy balls. There's a lot of great activities, and everyone did them without any sight.
I think it's great that you brought a lot of creativity to the project, and it's something that I would like to see more of.
Yeah, I agree. And also, like, the children had to learn, like, at one point, they were like, how do I know that this is enough? Or how do I know this is mixed? And they had to come up with their own solutions that didn't require sight to figure it out. Oh, like, use a fork and feel around. Or, use one hand and put your finger in the cup so that you can tell if you're reaching the brim or not. Like, the kids also had to learn thinking about the task at hand differently. And that was really good.
Can you tell us a little bit about the camp, a little bit about Sarah and empowerment through interaction?
Yes, my sister, Sarah Minkara, has basically established this organization called Empowerment Through Integration, in which the goal is to empower through integration, as the title states. And what she does is there's a summer camp in which the first couple weeks is just blind kids alone and they learn life skills. Then, the second half of the camp, they take these blind children and then they also have sighted kids that come in. And the idea is that these kids learn to work together. And part of it was the STEM aspect. There was STEM, there was music, there was art, there was sports. But yeah.
Now, when it comes to STEM, you actually are a chemist.
Yes, I am. And so I really enjoyed working on this project because I myself don't know many other blind scientists, and I want to see that to change. I want that to change. I want to see more blind scientists. I think that we could solve problems and think about problems completely differently. That is part of my way that I can do that.
So when did you get the bug to go into science? I mean, like, you are STEM.
Well, I don't know if I am STEM. That's like really grandiose. But I've always wanted to be a scientist. And I just started to pursue that when I started undergrad at Wellesley. And so that was my first flavor of it, doing research. Got my PhD at the University of Florida. I had great support there. And now I'm a postdoc here at the University of Minnesota working for Ilya Seatman, who is an amazing advisor. And I am very glad to be here.
It was through Dr. Mona Minkara's educational career that she developed a desire to help others, as others helped her along the way. And in this 2009 graduation speech, you can hear her passion and her commitment to helping others.
We all remember where we came from and how we got here today. So now let me tell you my story. Apparently, I'm going to be one of the first legally blind students to graduate with a science degree. And I'm not telling you this to be boastful, but trust me when I tell you it wasn't always expected for me. When I was 7, I was diagnosed with macular degeneration and Conrad dystrophy. Doctors predicted that I'd be completely blind. Currently, I have no vision in my right eye, but I do have some vision in my left eye. During a summer trip to Lebanon, my mom and my uncle, Khalid Fuad, Allah yarhamu, took me to one of the most prestigious eye doctors in Beirut. I remember that day so clearly. My mom came out and she was crying. And my uncle told her that he would go to the ends of the world to help us out. Now, it wasn't until later that I had found out that that doctor had told my mom that it wasn't worth spending a penny on my education because I was going to be blind anyways. But as my life went on to prove, it wasn't I who had limited vision, but he. I've been blind blessed to be surrounded by individuals who have believed in me. First and foremost, my parents. My parents gave up their dreams of going back to Lebanon so I can stay here and become educated. My mom would stay up all night going through projects with me, and my dad would literally wake up at the crack of the dawns to go through math and physics questions with me. But the list doesn't stop there. There have been many individuals who have been instrumental to my success. As I await my diploma, I fully realize that I would not have been able to make it onto this stage today if it wasn't for the help of many individuals who have aided me every single step of the way. From my fellow classmates who would read to me on a daily basis, to my professors who would regularly meet with me and go over concepts and were willing to adjust their teaching techniques, I was never alone in my journey. If it weren't for these individuals, family, friends, faculty, staff, and even strangers along the way who took time out of their lives and ambitions, I would not have been able to graduate with all of you today. The kindness and generosity have inspired me to strive to help others.
On a daily basis, what kind of tools do you use to access your material today?
Okay, I'm a theoretical computational chemist. So I don't actually work with any chemicals. I just theorize about chemical problems. And I use computers. I have voiceover on my computers, but I also work with people that are my access assistants. And that's how I do my job.
So you use an iPhone.
Yes, I definitely use an iPhone and it talks.
Yeah.
And I use an iPad and it talks. And my computer talks. Like, everything I have talks. I live a very boisterous environment with all my talking equipment, yeah.
So when your phone goes off, everything goes off.
Yeah, everything goes off, and everything talks. Like, yes, never a silent moment.
What recommendations would you have for a student who's transitioning from high school to college, looking into the science fields?
Well, a blind student or just a student in general?
Someone who's blind, with a blind perspective, I guess.
If their passion lies there, go for it. Just follow your passion, whomever you are. Like, it's been unfortunately ingrained in us, I think, in the blind community that science is not our thing because it's so visual. But as my advisor told me, because you're blind, you think differently about problems, and I feel like you think outside the box and you'll solve problems that no one else has solved. That is what I believe we can contribute to the world. I think sometimes we are so limited about what we believe our abilities are and what society tells us our abilities are. If people just truly followed their passions and others didn't stop and stand in their way, I think we would have a better world to live in. And I know that sounds cheesy, but...
Well, it's the truth sometimes.
Yeah, I mean...
So Mona, how can people get a hold of you and your website?
Yes, so I have a website, just monaminkara.com. That's MONAMINKARA.com. There's a contacts page. But also, if you guys are interested in learning more about the tools I've used to get here, I have a page on my website under monaminkara.com/blind scientist tools. There's a page with every conceivable possible tool that I've used so far, and there's just ideas out there for anyone else who wants to know, like, how did I do my classes, how do I go to conferences, using Play-Doh for visualizing proteins. It's all there. And if anybody wants to contact me, yeah, like I said, just on my website is all my information.
Play-Doh's affordable. A lot of people should be able to use that.
Yeah, and also we actually have here proteins modeled with pipe cleaners.
Oh, really? So you can
You
actually
can feel them.
feel them.
Yeah, because somebody actually took the time. Actually, it was John Hamill who took the time to take the pipe cleaners and twist them around to match up with the shape of the protein.
So science affordable. Good.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was really great to talk to Dr. Mona Minkara again. You can find her other podcasts. I'll put the link in the show notes. It's really something to see her and her team talk about developing the STEP curriculum, bring it to Lebanon and implement it, and see it have such a positive impact, not only on the blind students, but also the sighted students as well. Congratulations, Dr. Mona Minkara and your team, and what you're doing for the blindness community in realizing the potential and creating opportunities for others. And if you're considering transitioning to college and have an interest in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, be sure to contact your state services and see what they can do for you. And you can find more podcasts with the blindness perspective, especially in the college and STEM programs. Be sure to check the categories out on the web or in the Blind Abilities app. A big thanks to Chichao for your wonderful music. That's El Chichao on Twitter. And as always, thank you very much for listening. We hope you enjoyed. And until next time, bye-bye.
When we share
what we see
through each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap between
the limited expectations and the reality
of blind abilities.
The realities of blind
abilities.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities. Download our app from the App Store, blindabilities, that's 2 words, or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Thanks for listening.